Hi guys, welcome to a new knitting podcast. My name is Claudia and welcome here on Knitted Journey. And it's been a while since I filmed my last knitting podcast because I've been away on holiday and I actually filmed a little bit over there, some updates of my knitting on holiday in Spain. I vlogged some sightseeing, etc. So if you haven't watched those videos, go check them out and then you'll be updated of like everything I did these past, I think 5 weeks. But anyways, I'm going to show you what I have finished in the last weeks, what I have started, and it's a lot. So let's get started. I have actually 2 finished objects, and those are my last summer knits actually, and I have 1, 2, 3, I believe 4 whips to show you, of which 3 are new, or actually I have 5 whips, but I'll get into that. And I have new yarn and goodies and stuff, so it's going to be a lot. So I want to get started with what I'm wearing right now. As you can see, it is hot and pink and I just love it. It screams, really, it screams my name. And it's the Tolsta tee by the Creabea, Rebecca Clone. And I've talked about this tee a lot and about this yarn a lot. And I don't think I have shown you this, that I started this tee in my last knitting podcast. But actually I started the Ingrid top by Gregoria Fibers in this yarn. Decided I didn't love it and scratched it and made the Tolsta tee. This is the fingering weight option, by the way. And the yarn is from a Dutch hand dyer. It's from wool met Verve. And it's a basic sock yarn. So it's 75% merino superwash and 25% nylon. And it has all these beautiful pinks and oranges and a little bit of yellow almost, purples, and even a bit of red and light. And it's turned out so wonderful. I've actually shot some footage of me putting all the things I want to show you on, so you can see it in a clip. But yeah, I really love this color. Pink is just my favorite color in the whole wide world. It makes me so happy. Yeah, so it has a wide neckline, as you can see. And it is a simple raglan construction. For this I made the size 4 because I wanted to be a little bit more oversized and relaxed feel. And thankfully I got just that. I believe I've made a Tolsta in size 3 and in size 4. This is my Tolsta number, I think the 3rd one that I made, but I'm not sure actually. But I did cast on 8 stitches less with the neckband and increased immediately after because I wanted to be a little bit more snug here. But as you can see, it's still wide, but it's a summery kind of shirt. So I don't mind it with this Tolsta tee really all that much. My other ones, I really wanted it to be a little bit more snug, but this one I don't mind it because it feels so relaxed and oversized. It's grown a lot with blocking. So when I was knitting it, I was a little bit hesitant if I made it long enough, big enough, especially that. And as you guys know, I don't like my clothing to be like really tight under the armpit. Maybe it's flattering or comfortable for someone else, but for me, yeah, I don't like it. Especially because this is wool. It's hot. I'm hot right now. So yeah, I made it a little bit like the yoke is not as deep as the other ones. And I was a little bit insecure about that, if that would be fine. But as I said, it blocked out wonderful. It grew quite a lot, but now it's the fit that I just love. And it's the first time that I like the fit of it so much that I don't feel the need to tuck it in. I tuck in everything in the front of my jeans, like sweaters, t-shirts, tops, everything. With this one, I feel like it looks really cute just letting it loose. So that's saying something with the loose fit that it has. And as you can see, I made the sleeves quite a bit longer than the pattern suggested. I believe I went up to 8 centimeters instead of like maybe the 3 the pattern suggests. I don't know exactly. And that contributes to the relaxed fit. And also I find it way more flattering if the sleeves come up like halfway of my arm instead of up here, because there are no short rows in the sleeves. I could have made some, but then it's like it cuts around here. It's on an angle to be like, if I exaggerate it, but now I made them a little bit more long. So yeah, I was to be honest a little hesitant about it when I was knitting this, and when it was finished. To be honest, I finished this not in Spain, but really short after that. I've been back for a week and a half, by the way, so not long at all. And then I thought, oh damn, maybe I should have made a Lento sweater and hold it together with a soft mohair type of yarn. Not mohair, if you know me. But then it would be a little bit more neutral. A little bit, no, neutral is not the right word. Subdued. But then I posted a picture of me wearing this a couple of days ago, and I got so much compliments on it and so much love, and it was so fun. So thank you if you've liked it or commented. But now it really grows on me, and I can't wait to wear this. I've worn this to the cinema already. Not Barbie, although this is Barbie, to be honest. So yeah, I am quite hot now, but it's quite loose and airy, and I need to stay calm now anyways. So yeah, that's my first finished object, and I don't know what else I can tell you. I use needle size 3.5 just according to the pattern. Gauge didn't mind all that much, because if you're going to wear something this oversized, it doesn't matter if you're off a stitch or two. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the yarn is hand-dyed yarn, and with that it's really recommended to do helical knitting or to alternate skeins. So every row is from a different skein to prevent pooling. But these yarns looked so good and so similar that I kind of went against that. I was just a little bit stubborn, and I didn't want to fuss with helical knitting and the increases here on the raglan, because I did that on a Monday sweater with 3 skeins and it was a hassle. Didn't want to do that, so instead of that I started the helical knitting just under the sleeve. So when I joined it, so when I split for sleeves and it just was working on the body, I immediately started helical knitting, and I think for about 3 inches. And then I thought, well, hey, that should be enough. And then I finished it with skein number 2. And I also wanted to have enough yarn from the first skein, the top part, to knit the sleeves. And maybe you would think that like this part looks darker, that this is the second skein, but it actually isn't. It's just the first skein. But I think because of the really small circumference, of a lot smaller circumference, I think I got a little bit of pooling over here still. Didn't want to do helical knitting on the sleeves. I was too lazy, and I didn't mind all that much when I was knitting it. Now from afar you can see it a little bit, and then, yeah, like here, a little bit of pooling spots that I don't have on the body, but that's just how it is. So let's see if I can show you. So I started helical knitting around here. I think it's about this. So this part is the second skein and this the first. I don't see any difference, to be honest. I see differences in the sleeves, but as I said, I think that's because it's a different circumference, and that made the pooling, but not on the body. I don't mind that at all, to be honest. So yeah, that's all done for real now. And I'm going on with my second finished object. And if you've seen my knitting vlogs, you've seen a whole lot about this project, because I was knitting like non-stop in Spain on this. And it is the Barbroe top by Knitting for Olive. And it is so beautiful. And I'm really glad I made this. I haven't worn this, haven't had a chance. Don't think I'm going to get a chance to wear this, except with layering, because like summer is practically over here in the Netherlands. We can have quite a nice weather, but not for this summer top. So yeah, this is a button-up top. So you start here at the bottom with a scalloped edge, which is really beautiful. I love the look of that. And I tucked on the ends with plucking to accentuate it a little bit. Although, to be honest, probably won't see it when I wear it, because this is something I definitely would tuck in my jeans or a skirt. So yeah, and it is a lace pattern, as you can see, with the eyelets and with increases, decreases, etc. You get this pattern. And when I was like a couple of inches in, the pattern grew on me, like the stitch pattern. It's really addictive because it's an 8-row repeat. So every time you do one row, you want to do the next and the next. And every time you want to build up to that 8th row and then start again. I did have some issues with sizing and needle size and gauge with this one. I started this, I think, 2 months ago. On the recommended needle size 3.5, I believe, on fingering wave yarn. It was way too big and I didn't like how the stitch pattern looked. And like, you can't see how big it becomes with one repeat. So you need to do like a couple of repeats before you can actually see what it's going to look like and what the size is going to be. So I started and I decided to frog it. Went to needle size 3. Still didn't like it, had to frog it. And then I ordered some new needles, needle size 2.5, and I was finally happy with it. I made the size medium because I was still afraid it would be a little bit too large. And I'm really happy with the size that I chose, because the head, it's the tightest around the bust area, the chest, and I have a little bit of positive ease, and it flows beautiful. I mean, look at this. It has such a beautiful drape, and that's partly, I think, the pattern. It's fingering weight pattern, really loose with the lace, and it's also the yarn. And the yarn is from Sandnes Garn. It's Tynn Line, and it's a cotton viscose linen blend. I'm not sure, but I really love this. It's soft. I love knitting with this, yet it splits, but it was fine. You need to be a little bit mindful with that. And what actually this yarn is like a really dusty grain color, which I love a lot. But the center doesn't take the dye all that much. I don't know the technical things, but there's a little bit of white and a green. So it's close up, it gives a really nice effect. I have some notes over here because I have so much to say. So yeah, you can actually see some shots of me wearing it right now, and I really love the fit. It flows around my body. That's the best way to describe it. So it's a little bit more tight on the chest, and then it just drapes beautifully. It's looser around the waist, which is not on which is nice on hot days. And then it fits around my my hips, the widest part of me, really well. And it's also because the lowest 2 rows or repeats are a little bit wider, and I think it's because of that. So you get a little bit of hourglass shape, and it fits around your waist, or not your waist, that's my smallest part, but around your hips really well. The back is a little bit, I need to change this, I see. Is that? The back is a little bit higher up, as you can see, than the front. The straps with blocking, I made sure they were flat, so they cover up my bra straps really nice. It just rolled around here, but I think it looks really nice. And then in the front, let me see if I can show you. Here you have an I-cord edge, and as you can see, I haven't woven in my ends really neatly. Need to fix that. So yeah, it's just the most beautiful pattern. If you're looking for a really nice summer top, that's going to be a little bit more to dress up, maybe a little bit more dressy, I would totally recommend this. And I fell in love with lace knitting, and this is well, you need to be comfortable with knitting, reading knitting patterns, and maybe it's nice if you've done some lace before, like you know what yarn overs and etc. are. But other than that, this is so doable. It isn't all that difficult, I think. I really mean, I learned myself how to knit with YouTube, so you can look everything up. So yeah, I just love this top. Is there anything else I want to say? Yeah, just that I made the body shorter than the pattern suggested, but I do that anyways, always, because I'm really short. And this for me even is already quite long. If I would compare this to what I'm wearing right now, the Tolsta is really more cropped than this. But I wanted to make sure that, like, I can't correct this afterwards, and I wanted to make sure that this is long enough for tucking it in front, and then you won't be able to see my back when I raise my arms or something like that. And it's comfortable to tuck it in all the way without being too much fabric. Like on hot days, I'm not going to wear this because it is a warm fabric. It's still a knitted, like kind of, I think there's still wool on this top. And if I tuck this into a skirt, you have like all the layers scrunched up. No, that's way too hot. So I'm hoping to get a lot of wear out of this next spring, summer. But yeah, we'll see. For the looks of it, I would definitely make it again, but only if I'm going to wear this, to be honest. So that's about the Barbroe top. And if you want to see more of this, go check out my vlogs. Then, whips. I'm going to start with the first whip that you've already seen before. That's my longest standing whip of this time. I think I started this like 2.5 months ago. 2 months ago. It's taking a while and still not finished. I'm talking about the Field Day cardigan by Ozetta. And this is where I'm at right now. So it kind of looks like a cardigan at the moment, which I'm really happy with because this has taken such a long time. So firstly, the yarn that I'm using, this Tweed yarn, and you can see the fluff of fabric, the tweed. This is by Phildar. It's Berlingot Tweed coloré. It's 60% cotton, 32% viscose, and 80% polyester. So mostly cotton and viscose, and it's so soft. This fabric is so nice to the touch. And I'm quite sensitive, but this is like really soft. And one skein of 50 grams comes with 125 meters. So, yeah, when I first started this, I was working on a size medium. And as I've said multiple times before, with most sizing charts, I'm a size large with knitting patterns because of my chest circumference. It's about 100 centimeters, so I usually fall in a large. Sometimes the large, extra large, that's with Petiteknit, which sounds crazy. I'm not an extra large, to be honest. But then I usually pick large. But this is a pattern that needs a lot of positive ease. This 20 centimeters is suggested. So then I can size down to a medium, and then it will probably fall in between a medium and large. And I thought that was okay. I like things oversized. I like a lot of positive ease. But my gauge was off. And I was worried. The pattern suggests needle size 4.5, but and I believe this, like, I've heard this before with Ozetta patterns, that her gauge is really different from most people. So I'm working on size 3 millimeters right now instead of 4.5. So I think that's I needed to go down like a lot. So I'm making a size small right now. I think I started with size small, but needle size 3.5. It turned out too big, and I didn't really like the fabric. So now I like how it looks. And it's quite dense. But yeah, this is a layering piece, and I want it to be more neat and not too airy. That's something with my champagne cardigan. I think that's a little bit too loose of a gauge. Anyway, size small, and the gauge is still a little bit off. I think I'm 1 or 2 stitches too big, so it will turn out bigger than the size small. And this is mostly cotton, so I'm anticipating that it will grow a lot with blocking. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say about the sizing. And as you can see on the clip with me wearing it, it fits quite nice. Maybe I would have liked it a little bit bigger, but that will grow with blocking, I think. And the ends of the sleeves here, they are rolled up, so I think when the sleeves will come onto this and the sleeves will weigh it down a little bit, then the drop shoulder will go down. And I think the last time in the knitting podcast I was not yet split for sleeves or joined in around. This other construction, I don't think I joined in around, and I did that just before I left on holiday, and after that I did this much, which is about 2.5–3 inches. It's not a lot, and I've worked on it quite a bit these last week and a half, but it just grows so slowly. I think, I'm not sure, but there could be more than 300 stitches on the needles. The row gauge is quite small with 3 millimeters, so it grows so slowly. But yeah, about the pattern, it's a drop shoulder construction V-neck cardigan with the V is quite high, and the button band is knitted at the same time, and it's a rib. Just, that's quite simple. The construction for how you start the button band is quite strange at first. You're using Judy's Magic cast on, and I have to sew this close. And I have no idea what buttons I want to use for this, but I'll see. So I've already done 2 buttonholes, and the space between them I'm making a little bit shorter than a pattern just because I want this to be cropped, this cardigan. I want to wear this maybe even on top of a dress or a skirt, but mostly on top of jeans. So I want to like cover my body and be it a little bit below the like the band of my jeans. But as I said, I'm short, so I want it to be cropped, which it probably will be because I'm a little bit sick of this knit. I don't hate working on it, but one row literally cost me like 15 minutes, especially the purl rows. But that means that when I pick this up and I'm going to knit for an hour, I've done 4 rows, which is, yeah, it's 1.5 centimeters. So it's growing really slow. It needs 4 buttonholes, so that's just a little bit, that's more motivating. So like, it's coming really slowly but steady. I'm getting there. And I'm prioritizing this a little bit because this was intended as like a spring knit maybe. spring to summer, then, well, other things got knit. And I'm afraid I have this finished in winter time, and it doesn't feel like a wintry fabric. And I have so much things on my needles that excite me really, that I want to slow down a little bit so I can join them more, and I want to have this finished. I hope the sleeves will get done a lot quicker because like a lot less stitches on the needles, so hopefully that will help. But yeah, I can't wait when it's finished, also because I want to wear this. Yeah. Do I want to say anything else? No, I don't think so. That's this one. Then I have 3 more things to show you. First, I'm going to show one of the more exciting things, and that is the Ingrid sweater by Petiteknit. And I've wanted to knit the sweater, I think, almost immediately since I started knitting 2 years ago. I just really love textured sweaters. I've already knit the sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it's my favorite knit sweater that I have. I really want to make it another time, so maybe even this winter. But yeah, look at that color. It's Sandnes Garn Pure Gynt. I think this color is called Electric Blue. I'm not sure yet. The color is 6046 if you want to look it up, but it's wonderful. It's 100% Norwegian wool, so it is quite rustic. It doesn't itch, but I think it will be most comfortable for me with like a t-shirt underneath it. So I haven't done much, but if you think about what I've done in the last week and a half since I'm back, it is a lot. But if you don't know, I'm a teacher and school starts tomorrow actually. So I've been just at home preparing a little bit for work, but I had a lot of knitting time. So this is the back panel, as you can see, with the short row shaping. This is the double moss stitch, and then you have a purl rows with eyelets, and then the cross section, or the, does she call it mock cables? I've done them in the Moby sweater, but I really like doing them with this yarn a lot more. I think they turn out quite neat. And now I have to do a big section with 2x2 rib, I believe. So yeah, I'm making the size medium because I believe my gauge is 1 stitch off. I needed to go down in needle size again. That's just the theme of like the last couple of projects. Maybe I'm so relaxed, I'm knitting quite loosely, I don't know. I'm using needle size 3.5 instead of 4, and my gauge was still a little bit too big, so that's why I sized down. Because as I said with Petiteknit, I'm between a large and extra large, but this pattern calls for like 20 centimeters of positive ease, and I actually do want to go near that 20 centimeters because I think this pattern looks so cool and it's nice and oversized. But I'm thinking with my gauge being a little bit off, that will be fine. Especially like you can see it here a little bit. This, you expect this to be straight, but it isn't. So the gauge differs with the textures. I'm not sure, we'll see. I'm so excited by this. I can't wait to have this finished. This color is so stunning. As you can see, it brings out the blues in my eyes. And I've said this before, this brings out the green in my eyes. So I really want to have this finished. But it will take a couple of months before I can wear this actually. Until it's cold enough to be able to wear this. So I'm okay with working a little bit slow on this. Because this is like a dream knit for me, maybe even. So yeah, that's the Ingrid sweater. Next time, hopefully, I will have the back part finished and working on the front parts, or maybe have connect them so you can see it a little bit as a sweater. And I have this new project bag, by the way, that I bought in Spain, and I really love it. I want to have more of them. And that's something I started doing like maybe 2 months ago, putting everything in its own project bag to help me, because I have a lot on my needles right now. Then, get my notes. Something that's not for me. I still have one sweater to show you, but I'm going to show this first. I'm working on some gift knits, and this is something really different from me. It's for one of my closest colleagues. She gave birth to twins maybe a month ago already, but they came way too early. And I really wanted to knit something for her, because I've worked so closely with her for 5 years now, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I made like a baby hat and a scarf and mittens for another colleague. Didn't want to do exactly the same. Didn't feel like making a hat. And one of my offline knitting friends, Jasmijn, was working on a cute little brown sweater. And when I saw that, I was like, yes, I feel like making a baby sweater. So, ta-da! This is what I have so far. It is twins, as I said, a boy and a girl. So I'm making 2 sweaters. This is the first one. The pattern that I'm using is a free Ravelry pattern, and I think it's really good. It's a good old raglan by Garn, O'Hanton Court, or Twisted Knitwear. I'll mention all the patterns and designers down below so you can look it up. But it's a free pattern, originally for a striped raglan sweater. I'm just doing it in one solid color. So it's a simple raglan construction with just 1 stitch in between the increases. The rib, just a simple 1 by 1 rib, and the bottom has also 1 by 1 rib. What I did a little bit different is I did a German twisted cast on for the neck edge, because I want to make sure that the head fits and it fits comfortably. So it's quite stretchy. I'm hoping this is fine. The yarn that I'm using is by Droops. It's Merino Extra Fine, which is 100% superwash merino. I've used this before, and I actually had some of this brown in stash. Just had to buy 1 skein extra. I believe this color is called chocolate, number 49. So I just have the body finish, and I started on the sleeves. I have did everything on 4mm, even the ribbing on the neckband, but the ribbing on the body I did in 3.25. And I have a sock needle, so tiny circular in 4mm, so I thought that would knit quite comfortably. And what I want to do is embroider when it's finished and blocked, like eyes and an ear and a little mouth, so it looks a little bit like a teddy bear sweater. I thought that was such a cute idea. And then I already started the second one, because I wanted to avoid like second sock syndrome with second sweater. And that's this one. So I'll have a dark brown and a lighter, it's more like a grayish color, taupish. And I'll probably use this light yarn to make the face on the dark brown sweater, and I'll use the dark brown yarn to make the face on a lighter sweater. So they're really matchy. And by the way, as you can see, the back is raised quite a bit with short rows. So I think that will sit quite nicely. It's soft yarn and can go in a washing machine. So I've already split for sleeves on this one. Did exactly the same. Yeah, it's really cute. So I'm going to have this as my on-the-go projects with me, especially next week on work when I have some free time and I want to relax between the lessons. So yeah, those are these gift knits. They're going by really quick, by the way, and I'm using a new, for me, new knitting app to record everything, make notes, etc. It's Knit and Note, and I really like it so far because I can put the pattern in there, I can mark and make notes in the pattern itself. I made some notes with knitting this, and for example, I'm just keeping how many hours I have worked on this. I make a note of that. So this, what I have so far on this brown sweater, has been 6 hours, which on the one hand feels like really a lot for like a gift. It's quite an laborious gift, to be honest. A hat would have been way quicker, but on the other hand, I got really far, and this is, I believe, 3 hours so far. So this one goes by a little bit quicker, but yeah, I didn't have to figure out how I wanted to do the neckband, etc. So 6 hours. Maybe in another 2 or 3 hours I will have this finished, hopefully. But then I need to block and I need to do the face. So I don't do this for everyone and every baby around me, but for the close friends or this, so a colleague, I wanted to do this. And actually I quite enjoyed making this because this goes by so fast. And if you compare this to like the field day cardigan, this goes so slow. I really needed a quick project with quick results. So yeah, I really recommend this pattern. Don't know if the sizing is correct. As I said, they're preemies right now still. So when it's winter time, I made size 3 to 6 months. I have no idea how this fits them, but I don't care. If I give them, they're not my problem anymore. I hope they look cute together. And by the way, I also wanted to do something a little bit more gender neutral. This is really gender neutral. I feel like the darker colors probably for the boy, but the parents can decide that for themselves. I didn't want to do like a blue and a pink, definitely not, but I was contemplating like maybe a sea green with a lilac or something. But the teddy bears is so cute. I couldn't not do that. So they go in their project bag. And then I'm going to my last whip, which I'm really excited by. And that's especially because of the yarn. It is the Lento sweater by, oh, I'm almost dropping stitches. Lento sweater by Jonna Hietala. Do they say that? Hietala? I'll mention it below. Like, the Lento sweater is famous, I believe. And this is what I have so far. So I'm not really far, but I haven't worked on this a whole lot, and I want to save it. And it is, oh my gosh, this is so soft, and I love the color. Like, blue suits me really well, and it feels like it's clouds. It's soft as a cloud, and it looks like the sky. Well, the yarn that I'm using is really special because it's from one of my offline knitting friends, Fem, from the Mindful Creators. She is making her own hand-dyed yarn since like really soon. She released her first collection when I was in Spain, so I ordered it immediately, 2 skeins of her from this yarn, because I really want to support her. And you can find her down below because I really want to support her. This is her Soulful sock base. So it's 75% merino, 25% nylon, but it's the softest sock yarn that I've felt. Like, this is sock yarn, but this is a little bit rough to the touch. And for socks, that is perfect to wear. To be honest, I don't feel it itching or scratching all that much, but this is really soft yarn. And she also has fingering wave yarn, but she was already out of that. Good for her. So yeah, I just went for the sock yarn because, like, the perks of being friends is that I already felt the bases that you had in real life. So I knew a little bit of what I was getting. But this is the Blue Hydrangea color from the Cottage collection. So it's inspired by Blue Hydrangeas. don't know if I have, yes, I have a label here, but it's mirrored for you. So 100 grams is 425 meters. And yeah, the Mindful Creators, go check her out and give her some love. And I've paired this with some really soft Surrey alpaca, because I hate mohair. I'm just going to say it. A mohair really itches, especially around the neck and like the chest area. And it makes me not wanting to wear what I have. For example, my sweater number 18 is made with mohair, and it puts it off for me to wear that. So my next sweater number 18 is without mohair. But sometimes I do want to have that fluff. And this is Zeta Suri by Lana Grosse. And I found this in my local yarn store. And I used the pink yarn from this for another Tolsta that I made. You can watch it in a previous podcast. But this is 69% alpaca and 31% silk. And this is like soft. This doesn't... Okay, it can itch if I really scratch it a little bit. But I'm really sensitive. And I went to the store to match the color, and it is going beautifully together. And I wanted to have a color that is suitable for like the whole winter. This isn't a summer project for me. Sweaters with wool I want to wear in wintertime. So yeah, and I chose to do this pattern because the Lento, you can make like some of the sizes with 2 skeins of fingering wave yarn, like the Blue Hydrangea one. So it makes for a little bit more economical project. I say a little bit more because, to be honest, hand-dyed yarn isn't cheap. And I had to buy 4 skeins of the Zeta Suri, which also isn't really cheap yarn. It's okay. It's €8, I believe, for what does it have? 25 grams is 212 meters. So it is like a mohair, but like kid silk from Droops is cheaper than this. But I don't like that kid silk. So yeah, it's a double folded double folded neckband, as you can see, in a 1x1 rib, and you start with a professional cast on, which I did in a new technique, but saw a YouTube video that was really helpful. So I don't think it's that sturdy. I definitely would need to put an elastic in here. I'm going to, and I made it a little bit bigger because in wintertime I really like to have like a snug, tight, big, warm collar. So that is what I did. It's like maybe 4 rows bigger, 5 rows bigger. But I like the statement that it gives. And as you can see, it's a raglan. I've made so many raglan tops, like the Tolstas and the Monday isn't all that long ago. Now this is a raglan, and to be honest, I'm really excited about drop shoulder constructions like the Ingrid sweater. But I love how this is turning out. So because this hand-dyed yarn and what I said about alternating skeins, I'm doing helical knitting. But I started the helical knitting after I did the short rows, because the short rows I knitted flat, so you can't do helical knitting because that's in the round. And you can see a little, yeah, I don't know if it's pulling in the color a little bit, but yeah, it feels like clouds. That's what it reminds me of, but also the hydrangea, because when I come close you can see specks of green, different colors of green. Some are like more yellowish green and some are a little bit darker. We have pops of dark color, dark blue. You can't see the dark blue all that much, to be honest. They're really spare, but maybe when I've knitted a bit more of it, you can see it. And in the front, you can see the green popping more clearly. Oh, and my nail polish matches it exactly. So it's meant to be. It's just meant to be. So yeah, and I'm really going slow with this because I know this is knitted on needle size 6, by the way. I'm making a size 3, and I'm hoping that it will fall between size 3 and 4, because this asks for a positive ease of 12.5 centimeters. Is it 5 inches? Probably. And I was debating between the two sizes, but I don't know if I have enough yarn for size 4. So I'm starting with size 3, and I wanted to make sure, like, do I get gauge? Yes, the gauge with 6mm yarn needles, words, is spot on. So the first time in like forever, it feels like I have the correct gauge with the correct needle size, and that feels lovely. With the swatch, I thought 5.5mm was a little bit nicer, the fabric, but yeah, keeping gauge is so important, and I think this will be beautiful. Anyways, I'm just mindful of knitting a little bit more neatly than I knit the swatch. But what I wanted to say is what you can do with the raglan sweaters is just knit the increases to now size 3, try it on and check if I want to do some extra rows with increases, and that makes a size 4. Or maybe I can pick up a little bit more stitches under the arm if I want to have it feel more oversized. So I'm not sure yet. I don't want to have this tight-fitting, hate tight-fitting sweaters. Yeah, don't like it. I want to have this comfy and snuggle in this. But what I wanted to say is, because this needle size 6, it goes by really fast. Like, maybe I did this in 2 sessions, and one session was last night for like an hour, and one time I did, well, a lot more, but I want to savor this a little bit, because if I'm just going to work on this for the next week, I think this will be finished in a week or 2. But then I'm not able to wear this because it's not winter yet. And then it's just done, but it's so beautiful. And I want to see how this knits up. I believe I've said enough about this project. Yeah, the Lento sweater. So that's my last whip. I have some socks on the needles, but I've shown them in the vlogs, and I haven't knit on them since I'm home. So I'll show them another time. I have a bunch of yarn over here. Like, can you guess the color? Something pink, yes. Yeah, I have some yarn I want to show you, and I also want to show you something cool. I haven't shown this in a podcast, and it's this needle case by Petiteknit. I ordered it 2 months ago before the holiday, and I wanted something to keep my things organized, because I had like a pencil case, but it was a mess. And hey, Petiteknit is just the ultimate knitting influencer. So I bought the one that is like the on the go version. So when you open it, you have this. So she has 2 other cases, I believe, just for the needles, but I want to keep like different kinds of things. So I have here is room for your darning needles. I have scissors, and here I have some notions, and here as well. Then I have my 1 pair of circular needles. I have most of the needles I use are just an interchangeable set. So this one I keep in here, the 2.5mm. Crochet hook, marker, pen. I have some double pointed needles here, the one that I use the most and match my circular sock needle sizes. I did have to buy new double pointed needles. These are shorter. I believe they are 15 centimeters, because my other ones are maybe 20 centimeters, and then it wouldn't close. So keep that in mind. And some cable needles, and then you have a zip pocket over here. If I fold it over, and actually has 2 pockets. So I have my measuring tape, and I have a little bag of Barbroe cards, also by Petiteknit, by the way. So those fit in quite nicely here. So that's my review of this on the go tool needle case. I really like this. It bulks up quite a bit if you have it full, but then everything is handy and I can take this on a go with me. But this is just always with me when I'm knitting because it has everything that I need. I do have some extra, but I'll keep that somewhere else if I don't need it like daily. Then the yarn. Let's start with the first one for a gift knit. I already have a lot of this brushed alpaca silk by Droops in grey in my stash. And I think a year and a half ago I wanted to knit the Sunday sweater by Petiteknit, which has a round yoke with stripes, which you do with ribbing and increases. And I originally thought, hey, I don't have a grey sweater in my collection, in my wardrobe. Maybe that's something that would fit well because it's neutral. So I bought a lot of skeins of this brushed alpaca silk, which I was really in love with back then, and Droops Puna in grey. And Droops alpaca silk, by the way, is 70% alpaca and 23% silk, so it's like a Surrey alpaca, but it's thicker. So with this you have, where does it say? 25 grams is 140 meters. So the Surrey alpaca I just showed you is 25 grams, 212 meters. This is only 140 meters, so it's a lot thicker. But it is really soft and I love it for that. And Puna is alpaca and wool blend. But that's also a really like floppy yarn and held together. Like Puna is also a little bit, has fluff around it. It was, I couldn't get it neat. I thought it was messy. And also I hated the color choice. If you know me and if you've seen all the projects that I'm making for myself, I just love color so much. And I love blue and I love pink. The next yarn that I'm going to buy, I really wanted to be green. Just to get out of my pinks and blues obsession, or just that's my standard color for knitting apparently. But anyways, I decided that grey is just not me. It's just not me. So I don't want to use this for myself, and I started to think, what can I make with this so I can still use that yarn. So I'm going to split it because I don't like the combination of the Puna with the brushed alpaca silk. And with the brushed alpaca silk, I'm going to make vest number 5 by My Favorite Things knitwear for my sister. I already made that pattern for myself in, can you guess it? Pink, yes, good guess. And I believe I made size large, extra large. I've shown it in a previous podcast and I really loved it for myself. It's a quick pattern. I believe it's on needle size 5 or 5.5. So it's going by really quick. And it's a, by the way, a V-neck slip over with like lower shoulder, a little bit drop shoulder. It's a really cool look. And I thought that, and a little bit oversized, would suit my sister Isabel really well. Hi Isabel, by the way. And she is into the neutral colors. Like I'm all pinks and blues and rainbows and fun colors, and she is like all the neutrals that I sometimes wish I could be, but I'm definitely not. So yeah, I'm going to hold this double, and I wanted to pair it with some other color to make it a little bit more difficult to pronounce. Anyways, I've chosen Flora by Droops to go with this because I already had some Flora in stash, so I can make a swatch and see what works well for the fabric. And I bought this beige color. This is color number 7, by the way. I believe it's called light brown or something. And I think those two together will make the perfect neutral beige, grayish, taupish light color. So I'm really excited to start this. I really want to make this somehow because this color I like. It's beautiful. I don't think it suits me, but for something like a slip over and you could see like a white t-shirt underneath it or a blouse underneath it, that would be cute. But I want to make this, not sure about the size, if I want to make an extra small or small. If I want to make it a little bit oversized more. Isabel, if you have any idea, let me know. So yeah, but I want to have those other gift knits finished before I start this. Because otherwise I have so much on my needles and I'm running out of cables already. So yeah, that's the first yarn that I bought. I only bought 4 skeins and I think it will be enough. This is a fingering weight, by the way. If you don't know this, it's 65% wool, 35% alpaca. 50 grams is 210 meters. I really love this yarn. And it's the same contents as Droops Lima, which I also love, but that's just a DK weight and this is the fingering weight. I love this yarn. Then what I have bought is some really fun colors. Like this is for me, obviously. And I have mentioned this project idea planning like so many times before. I really want to make the Marseille sweater by Petiteknit. It's a drop shoulder sweater, DK weight sweater with stripes. And you see it most of the times with a white base, white-ish base with navy or dark blue stripes. Lovely, would want to make that, but I had the idea of a pink sweater with red stripes. And I had like a gift certificate from an online yarn store from my birthday still, and I wanted to use that, and it was from mostly Droops yarn. So I had a browse and I saw these 2 colors and like this, perfect. I think this pink with this red is just perfect. This is also, as you can see, Flora. So I need to help this double to get the correct gauge, but I'm comfortable I will get that. But then I still need something like a mohair. I'm not going to use that. Or maybe I held a single. I made a swatch with just white, brushed alpaca silk and Flora, and Flora single was enough, and I get a lighter drapey fabric. So I wanted to do either this held double Flora or Flora with Droops brushed alpaca silk. And I chose to go for that because this, to be honest, is a little bit of it's a really harsh pink. It's like a hot Barbie pink. And I don't think it's all that flattering. I think if you have a really dark skin tone, this would look beautiful. And I think I can wear it a little bit better in wintertime when I'm paler. But I thought that a little bit darker pink would make a blend that's, well, just a little bit more flattering for me. And I love this color. And this is a little bit more, has more white in it. And then for the red, I really love this red. This is the only red that they had. So it's a little bit more of a, I don't know. The Flora has a little bit more orange in it. And this is a little bit more pink, I think. So I'm hoping it will stay like bright red. But it's just for the stripes. So now the pattern I have bought like months ago, I had the idea and now I finally have the yarn. And when I had this in the mail, I want to cast this on, you guys, so bad. But yeah, I have so much on my needles and I want to give that some love and some attention as well. So I'm saving this maybe for, even if it's just for a week, I'm saving it. But that's the last yarn that I bought. And now I want to save some money because in less than 2 months I'm going with my offline knitting friends to Copenhagen to do some yarn shopping there. So yeah, I'm already making some plans, and like I said, I want some dark green yarn, maybe for an Elizabeth blouse, maybe for something for a scarf or a hat. and I just want to check out some yarn in real life, like all the yarn, the Scandinavian yarn that I hear so much about, that I can't get here easily or not in store. Like Knitting for Olive I can order online, but I want to see it in real life. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. So fingers crossed I don't buy any yarn before that. I can't make any promises. I should. Well, anyways, I'm going to wrap this podcast up. I really hope you enjoyed my colorful update with actually like summer finished objects, but I'm full in autumn, fall, winter, with it, whatever mode. I want to make sweaters, as you can tell, but still in lovely bright colors. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a next podcast. Bye bye.